We were at the show, and I touched my pockets to see where my phone was, and my phone wasn't in my pockets, and I was like, "My phone, where's my phone?" Ah! So
was it in your hand? I do that
it was
sometimes.
just sitting down next to
On
me.
the table.
Yeah.
Still, that first moment, you're like, "Oh shit, my whole life is gone."
That's not good. It's not
Yeah.
enjoyable. I don't wish that even on you, Tony. Even on you.
Wow. I mean, that's compassion right there, Dan.
Got a lot of compassion. I should save all this good comedy for the show.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's Hey, watch him, yeah.
Welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan, the host of the show.
I'm Tony.
Good job stepping on my host of the show.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You've never added a host of the show before in your entire life. We're 205 episodes in. We're supposed to have a pitter patter at this point, and it's chaos over there, Dan.
It's got to mix it up. Mix it up. Keep it fresh. Everything fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this show, we watch a movie, then we talk about the movie, and one of us has had picked the movie. I think I picked this movie, right?
You did, yeah. You picked this movie, Dan.
Don't know why I picked this movie. There must have been a reason.
I'm sure at one point you explained. You probably explained it last week, and I don't even remember.
So,
but there's always some sort of connective tissue in our minds that we like to lay out.
So if you want to know why I picked this movie, go listen to the last episode, or listen to the last couple minutes of the last episode, and then it'll all be solved.
Listen to the whole thing. You just got to stick it all the way out, all hour 40 probably.
Even if you've already listened to it, second time,
give it a shot.
See if Tony's jokes land the second time.
If anything, they get better, guys. So just hang in there.
So I went to my boy Nick Cage. I
love that guy.
And I picked this movie called The Knowing or Knowing.
I think it's just Knowing. I don't think it's The. Is it The?
I saw The some places, but the poster and stuff seemed to just say Knowing.
It just says Knowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
2009. 2 hours and 2 minutes too long.
It is too long. I'm going to spoiler alert. I only have 2 complaints about this movie, but that is one of them.
Yeah, only 2 complaints about this movie. Wow.
I'm going to tell you right now, I loved this movie.
Oh, okay.
This movie is like I love disaster movies.
Sure.
And this is like a disaster movie that then is also like, but, which is always fun.
I will say that the disaster parts of this movie are amongst the best disaster things that have been in
super well done. And then, and you don't think, just to jump right into like overarching things, did that earn you enough goodwill for them to do what they did? Or did it still not matter as much to you?
I didn't care about any of the characters, so
that does make it tougher. You don't care. You don't automatically care about Nick Cage. Nick comes on screen, and I'm like, "You're right. I'm attached. Love this guy."
Oh no, he's such a giant dick through the whole movie to everyone. You're just like, wow.
He's not a nice guy, but his wife died, so he's not a nice guy.
Wait, hold on. So when you have a wife die, it's like, yep, I'm going to be a dick the rest of my life. My kid walks into the room and it's like,
he thought he might have had more time. You know what I mean?
The kid walks in the room. He's like, Dad, I love you, and he's all like, have you done your homework? Because I have to drink a lot of alcohol. But
you see I'm busy, boy?
But the flip side of it, his weird brooding is it's not brooding enough, in my opinion. He's just kind of like this sort of, he's this sort of nightmare, monotone disciplinary. He's all like, did you do your homework? Did you do this? Well, you can't have a cupcake. Cupcakes aren't allowed for those like you.
But let me ask you.
Okay, ask me.
In the final scene, well, not quite the final scene, but when he is saying goodbye to his son.
Yeah.
Did that come back around for you? Because I think the idea is that he is disconnected because he's going through some shit. And that whole classroom scene where he's like, shit happens. He doesn't seem to care about anything. And
I see what you're saying.
His character journey is supposed to end in that moment where he's like, oh shit, I love you. I want the best for you. I fucked up. I'm going to stay behind. Like all that. I don't know if it worked but I do feel like that's what they were going for.
See, I think that I think there is some of that in there, but I also think that you're projecting on this movie the movie that you want this movie to be.
That's almost always what I do. That's kind of my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I like, because thematically, I really enjoy this movie a lot. I like the idea. It takes some big swings, which I really appreciate. Yeah, it's good.
See, you'll be sitting there watching the movie that this movie isn't, because this movie isn't pulling off all these things, and you're just going to be like,
yes,
yeah, but think about if this was good, then it would be good.
Well, here's what I would posit. I do think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's above average. Maybe not quite good, but I think it's above average. But I think the idea is phenomenal. Like, I love the idea, and there's moments. You know what I mean? Like, they try to get the notes that I think, like, when he realizes that there is no actual reason for him to get the messages, because he takes it upon himself. He's like, oh, I'm supposed to stop these disasters. Sure. And then there's that moment in the office where he's staring out at the sun. He's realized the world's going to end. And he's like, what was the point of getting these numbers if I'm not supposed to stop it? That needs to be a bigger moment character-wise, but yes. I love that moment.
If he actually let me rephrase this. The script actually articulated that he was trying to solve the problem, I think it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot better. And they one of the things they do in this movie with the character is he'll like be going to do something, and someone who he supposedly cares about or loves or whatever will be like, what's going on? Why don't you articulate what's going on? And he just doesn't even talk to them.
Nope.
He's just like,
ignores them.
You don't exist to me. You know, it's your classic thing where it's like, there's a monster coming and we need to do something. I'm not going to tell you there's a monster coming. I'm going to run past you and start, pouring the ingredients in a bowl, as opposed to doing the primary thing that you should be doing, which is communicating. And he doesn't communicate at all. And it's this pathway of me not liking this guy at all. And so
I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, that's
100% right.
So I just become disconnected from those whole gigantic sections of the movie.
Sure.
Where I mean, he's a good actor and he gets stuff across, but you do have to lead the audience a little bit into what his thinking is.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree.
I
agree with every word, every line you just said. I agree. It's not terrible though. That's where we would differ.
No, it's not.
And
terrible.
I want to say, because most people drop out of this show pretty quickly. So if you haven't seen this movie, go on YouTube and watch the plane crash scene.
Oh well,
that is fucking phenomenal.
The plane crash scene is, it's a 10 out of 10. Segment in a movie. I mean, it's
so good.
Literally unbelievable how, and that's the other thing that's kind of depressing is you see a scene that is directed perfectly, that's visualized perfectly, that's sound designed perfectly. It's like they said it took them 2 days to set up and 2 days to shoot. And they were kind of like not whining about it, but kind of like groaning about it. I'm like, good God, if you set that up and then shot that in 2 days, you should be the happiest people on the planet, because you've
100%.
You've truly created art. Like as a short film, it's
awesome.
5 to 7 minutes of perfection.
Yeah, it's really good
in film, and we do not get a lot of that.
Yeah, I get it, because they do shoot it. It's one shot, right? It's one continuous shot, which is awesome. It's unreal. It's a mixture of CG and practical effects, which is great. Obviously, it's 2009, so they don't look perfect, obviously, but they look good.
True.
So I get it's a lot of work, and I'm sure 2 days of filming 5 minutes would get annoying. You know what I mean? Like, but wow, it's totally worth it.
And I mean, that's kind of the thing with movies like this is they spend more time with him sort of running around or brooding or doing this, that, or the other thing, as opposed to really being in it. I saw somebody talking about the Succession TV show, which I don't watch, but they say that they have multiple sort of cameramen and they don't tell the actors when they're going to be on screen. So they're always acting.
Yeah.
Right. And so everybody, and everybody on that show is real actors. And so you get to really see what's going on, and, you can see their internal struggle. And it's like, let's do that. Let's see this accident, and let's spend 10 minutes afterwards, what he's going through.
Yeah.
Because this is a movie that could do it, but
it's almost a movie that should do it, because the questions, like the overarching questions that it asks, are all about like humanity, afterlife, like those, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a religious movie, but there are religious themes in it. Would you consider it a religious movie?
Based on the ending, yes.
So the ending is interesting, right? And we will definitely talk about it. All right. Yeah, all right. I would not consider it a religious movie, because I don't think it posits answers. I think it suggests questions, because, I mean, are they aliens? Are they angels?
You mean are the angels angels? The angels are angels.
Are they? I don't know. Because here's another theory that I was thinking. It's like, what if it's positing, and maybe we're too soon to talk about this, it could be positing that aliens are controlling the human race in a way, right? That these aliens are the godlike creatures that came and are like, well, time to start over, guys. But they're not, that doesn't have to be God. We don't know.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
So we start in 1959. There's a little girl. She's looking out in the distance. There's a sort of dude looking there. She looks at the sun. They're going to celebrate opening day. This little girl's named Lucinda. They've got a time capsule that's going in the ground in 1959, which is going to be pulled out in 2009. And the teacher is like, all you little children, draw what the future is like. All the other kids are drawing rocket ships and spacemen and whatnot. And she's just
kids
writing out a big list of numbers. And then she gets to the end of the numbers, and she wants to keep writing, and the teacher tears away the thing and puts it in the time capsule.
Which is like a dick move. Like you didn't give real parameters. Her excuse is, I told you to draw a picture, but you can let her do whatever she wants until she's done. Okay? That's just bad teaching.
But they also set up that she hasn't finished what she's doing there.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she just missed the last 6 or 8 little letters, I guess. Okay, so that works.
Couple of numbers there, yeah.
So they dedicate the school. They drop it in there. Lucinda's gone. They find Lucinda. She's in the basement, and she's clawing on a door the final few numbers with her bloody fingers. Now,
here's a question, Tan. Yeah. All of these kids look happy and healthy. And then we get to Lucinda, and she looks like she's going through some shit.
Because the whispers, she's constantly being whispered.
She's already kind of losing it. Okay, because like we get to her, she's like, she's gaunt. She's got bags under her eyes, and I was like, nobody's helping this child. This child is going through it, man.
1959, they're not going to be giving.
We didn't care.
Slap across the face is what that kid's gotten.
Just knock some sense back into her, guys. Give it a shot. All right.
Please stop going through it. Stop listening to the whisper men. Get your act together.
Hello. Yeah. All right.
So, boom, we're on Earth. Ominous music. We meet Caleb, who's the boy. He's looking at Saturn through a telescope. And Nick Cage, whose name is like Jeff or something. John. Yeah, just like in the Bible. Wow, that's pretty Bible-y. Caleb, Bible-y.
Bible-y.
And then he's like, is there life on other planets? And then the kid does,
there's foreshadowing there, Dan. Are they aliens? I don't know.
But you see, at the same time, the kid like kind of turns into Robot Kid and is all like, "There's 10 million. This is he sort of mansplains to his dad, who's an astrophysicist.
Yeah,
and you're kind of like, oh, okay. The first sort of interaction we have with this kid, he's mansplaining to his very smart dad, and then we never do that again.
Yeah, it is weird. It's a weird character moment that they don't really pay off, because I kind of thought that he was going to be, Spectrum-y.
Yes.
Or something. And then they drop that. And they're like, now he's just a regular kid. Okay. I don't get it.
He's also kind of deaf. He's not deaf, but he mixes up the sounds. but he has a hearing aid, which doesn't make any
Right.
sense. So it's
Right, because is that going to make them not disoriented? Like, I don't totally get it. Here's what I got out of the first scene, right?
What'd you get?
He makes hot dogs every Sunday, and I wish I was there. That's it. Good dad, you know?
Well, that's going to change. The kid is watching Tigers on TV. Tomorrow's a time capsule day. And then Dad's like, get to bed. I got to go hit the bottle and look at an unopened present. So I guess the present is something he was going to give to his wife who is dead.
Yeah.
For birthday, Christmas,
whatever.
We don't know.
Anytime. Just Wednesday, maybe. Sometimes they just gift exchange.
Now, did you automatically know that was a gift for the mom or not a gift from the mom?
I assumed it was actually a gift from the wife for some reason, and then she died before, and he was just like, I can't open it. You know what I mean?
That's what I assumed. The opposite is true.
Which is a weird choice, but it is what it is.
I just think it's kind of interesting that we both got to that conclusion.
Because that would be the net. If you are giving the gift, why am I afraid to open it?
Because you're not going to do anything with it.
Right. Like I already know what it is. So like I don't even technically need to open it because I know what it is. And if I want it, I can grab it because it's there. She's not going to open it. She gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's probably a better way to set that up where he touches the present and then looks at her.
Sure.
Looks at a picture of her. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that would tell it to you either, but
I don't know.
Yeah. Stupid movie.
Terrible movie. This is the worst movie we've ever done.
We're at MIT where he's teaching the kids about randomness versus determinants. And, why is the Earth at the right distance from the sun so that everything works here? And you're like, well, we're just the lucky one. It just happened that way.
And that's I believe what he's saying in the beginning. But then he comes around to the other side. You know what I'm saying? It's an interesting movie, Dan.
I mean, there are interesting concepts that could have been drawn from this movie.
It takes, as I said before, this movie takes big swings. Is it 100% successful? Of course not.
Of course not.
But I enjoy the swings. Also, who's in this scene, Dan?
Ben Mendelsohn.
Well, is he? Is that the guy? Is that the friend?
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn.
Great. No, one of the students who catches the sun is... Oh boy, it's Liam Hemsworth, Dan. It's one of the Hemsworth brothers, and he's one of the students. I think it's one of his first roles.
Wow.
That's it. It was just a fun. I saw his face, and I was like, "Hey, that's fun."
Well, he's so amazing. He didn't leave any impression on me.
Dan doesn't even remember him.
So his friend Ben Mendelsohn playing Phil, who's a real actor who people care about.
Wow. All right. Liam Hemsworth was in Hunger Games, sir. The kids love him.
Was he real? I mean, did he come back in the last ones and do something? Because he certainly didn't do anything in the first one.
I only watched the first one and then I kind of fell off.
Yeah, I think I watched the last one and there was this whole courtyard that got filled with oil. It's very strange.
Oh, okay.
The whole capital city was a giant trap.
Oh, sure. That's tough. The spoilers ahead, everybody.
Yeah, poor construction crews. Make this so burning oil will fill up this entire area. They're all like, should we really do that?
Yes, we should do it. Do it right now.
So he comes in and he's his one friend, so he does have a friend. And he's
everybody needs one.
Just one. That's all you need in a movie like this.
That's
one friend.
all you need, baby.
He does a whole, they talk about more determinism, and then he's trying to set up a dinner. I have a lady friend, and he's all like, no, I don't know. Maybe it's where he explains that his wife is dead. His wife is dead. Yeah.
He explains it, and he says that he's not ready for that sort of thing.
Not ready. He goes to time capsule day. He's a little late because that's what you do.
Another weird character moment, which he almost forgets to go and then remembers, but that doesn't really inform anything else in the movie. Again, I don't know. There's some weird setups that they don't stick with, and I don't totally get it.
They love that. They always think that if like dad's not showing up for the the recital, that means something and blah blah. It's like a shorthand scene thing, and you're just
he does show up.
We don't need it.
He's just a little late.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what's that weird middle ground? If he doesn't show up, he's a bad dad. If he does show up, he's a supportive dad. The middle ground is weird. It's a non-choice almost.
Kind of like that's a lot of this movie goes very middle non-choice, and it's
100%. And sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So maybe I'm the hypocrite.
You are.
Wow, that's harsh, Dan.
They crack open the time capsule, and then there's letters inside, and so all the children are like, "Give me a letter! Give me a letter!"
These children are terrible. They're ravenous for these letters. They're running over other kids. Whose choice was this? Just have them hand them out in an orderly fashion. No, kids don't care about this sort of thing. I'm sorry.
The kids do not want to just open a thing and see a drawing another kid did
some
50
idiot
years ago.
Kid 50 years ago that's going to be shit. It's not going to mean anything. Why would I want to open this?
I mean, I'm a nerdy kid, and I would be like, oh, what's in that time capsule? And if you told me letters from stupid kids, I'd have been like, why would you do this?
Right? Like, whose idea was this 50 years ago? This means nothing.
You were supposed to put a bunch of cool stuff so I can like pull out some old comic
trinkets.
books.
Yeah, yes, exact things that mean something to you as a kid. Something cool. Nope.
I would have been very excited if they had a time capsule and there were like old comic books or something that you're like, wow, that is old.
Yeah, and cool.
Like
it's a drawing. Nope.
Lou Gehrig's head or something, something cool.
His real head?
Yeah, human head. Human head in there. They fight for the envelopes, and then he gets the number. Our boy Caleb gets the numbers one, and then the whispering starts. And I'm assuming this is when the whispering starts in his existence, right?
It seems that way because he doesn't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense, Dan.
Because what?
Lucinda heard whispers and then wrote the numbers.
Yes.
How would it happen inversely later?
Well, he doesn't need
Is he still chosen then? That doesn't really make sense.
Oh, no, he's completely chosen. Yeah, this was meant to go to him.
I understand that that's what the movie's saying, but why would he just start like it? He should have heard the whispers already and then found this thing and been like, oh, now I'm connecting dots or something. But she heard the whispers, wrote the letter. He finds the letter, then hears the whispers. I don't understand those two things.
Well, once again, this is a screenwriting problem, right? I mean, no, I'm being critical of this movie because there, like you say, there is something here that if you spend some time honing it, it could be really interesting, and there's like we said, there are the scenes in this movie that you're like, okay, this is you've got the set pieces in this movie.
Oh yeah.
And all you're having this, and they're not doing a good job of supporting them, right? If you figure out your set pieces, and your set pieces are all going to be good,
I would wager great because
great. Yes,
the train crash is also really well done, and then the final scene is devastating and awesome.
The spaceship is when the spaceship comes down,
cool. Yeah,
you're all like, okay, this could all work. But it's these little things where we're going to find out at the end that Caleb is a chosen one, and this other little girl, whatever her name was, is also a chosen one. I have her written down when we get to
I'm sure you do. I don't write down names at all.
We needed to... He didn't ever do anything in this movie that made him a chosen one.
Yes.
So,
except for that beginning moment where he seems super, super, super smart, right? Maybe if he's super smart and they're like, we need that to rebuild the human race, like he's a candidate.
Yeah.
I would buy that. But he drops the whole smart thing immediately.
Yeah, we set him up as smart, and then the dad should have said something that's like, Caleb, you blow it off, you're the smartest kid. I wasn't half as smart as you when I was your age. And you're like, oh, this kid's smart. Because they also sort of set up that him and the other little girl are into animals.
Yeah.
And you're like, that means something. Well, let's explore what it means to him and the animals,
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Give us a little more. And then like with this letter thing, what if he had gone up there and she was handing out letters and he just stood there, and she handed someone a letter, and he could take the letter, and then he waits, and then he takes a particular letter, and you're like, whoa, sure. You're gonna have a moment if he's called by the letter. You're like, okay, this means something. But instead, he just gets the letter, and the whispering starts, and you immediately go to the thriller thing where it's like, okay, now he's infected with the whispering. He's going to start writing the numbers.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. The case is that they're sort of giving him information.
Sorta. Yeah. Kinda. I don't know.
He wants to go to sleepover with his buddies, and he's all like, you shouldn't have brought this home. Oh, he took the letter, and he
took the letter, yeah.
He gets mad at him for the letter and doesn't let him go to the sleepover. And you're just like,
I didn't understand that. Why is he saying no to the sleepover? Just because he's bad dad mode?
Yeah, he's bad dad mode. Okay. And what it is he should just be protective, right? He's maybe hyper protective of the kid.
Sure, but he's not.
He's not. He's just sort of like, I'm a dick, and you can't do anything.
You can't be a child, okay? I don't want a child. You can't be a child.
Yeah, and it's just it doesn't really modulate, and it doesn't take us anywhere. So he's sitting there watching videos of mom hitting the bottle. So then he gets down the numbers, and he's looking at them, and then he sets them on the table, and then he sets the whiskey on it, and the whiskey sort of makes a circle.
Yeah.
I did not get what the circle was. I was like, it's circled something.
It circled 9/11.
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Got it. Yeah, so the circle encircles those numbers, 9/11, and then the number of death. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't recall it. It's 2000 something.
Yeah. So
I feel like a bad patriot right there. Whoops.
So he has the realization that is the date, and then a number of people that died. And so then he starts going through the whole thing, and he realizes that this is a series of things that have happened. So it's date, dead, and then another bonus number.
Which we don't learn about yet.
First of all, I understand the conceit of this, the deaths thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how many people died in 9/11.
100%. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Is it the number that the New York Times reports? It's
sure.
And this movie gives us enough time to sort of have to think about that.
Sure.
Right? If you're going to give us time to think about that, because that's what this movie does. It gives you a lot of time.
Well, it's over 2 hours long.
It's 2 hours long. I have no problem with movies being long, but if you're going to give us time to think about things and not fill them in with other interesting things, we're going to be thinking about them, and we're going to be like, that doesn't make any sense. So he figures it out. The kid says, Dad, you're acting awkward. Awkward?
Yeah, he's a little awkward, right?
No, it's not awkward. You're acting weird.
Well, sure. He is weird.
What is awkward is when you act oddly in front of other people.
Awkward is when he's in the museum talking to Rose Byrne, which we'll get to in a minute.
That's
awkward.
You've set up an awkward situation where people are uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
You can't really be if you're just telling your kids stuff. It's probably you're not being awkward. You're being weird.
Although, to be fair, I also felt like Nick was a little awkward in some parts of this movie. He stands with his feet really far apart.
He's ready for action?
Is that what it is? I don't know. There was a couple moments in the film where we see him standing. I think one is right before the plane crashes. One is at the end. I noticed it the most at the end when the ship takes off.
Yeah.
And he's standing there in the field, looking up. His feet are further than shoulder width apart.
Oh, wow.
And that's fine. Do whatever, but it's weird. You're standing by yourself and your feet are really far apart. I don't know. Thought that was interesting. So that's kind of awkward. And then
Is it weird or awkward, Tony?
Yeah, you're right. It's more weird than it is awkward.
It is.
You're right. The kid's an idiot.
But it is also awkward in that, awkward also can mean hard to navigate, right?
Sure.
It's an awkward path to walk. You're like,
Which must be what he was doing after the train crash, because I don't know if you noticed how he was walking out of the Rebel. Everyone else is walking very normally, and he's like, kind of like a monster. You know how like zombies learn to walk? Like that's what it reminded me of.
Okay, so he realizes, he goes and he tells Phil, his buddy, and he's like, tomorrow 81 people are going to die. And it turns out the wife dying was a disaster, and she's on the list. And then he yells at Phil.
I love it. That's what he wrote down. And then he yells at him.
It's like, why are you yelling at Phil?
Well, because Phil's an idiot. All right.
Phil's not an idiot.
Phil is an idiot. He's
something. He's a genius.
He says something in this scene where isn't this a scene where he tells him that he's seeing what he wants to see in the numbers?
Yeah, I know.
Phil, look at how many there. I understand if there's 2 or 3 on that sheet, I get it. It's every other number is a perfect date. That's not finding a pattern that you want to find. That is a pattern, guy.
That is a pattern. It's like
Phil, that son of a bitch.
No, and what you should say is like, how do you juice the system? Well, you're like, well, somebody put that list in there.
Right. Sure.
Right. So it's a prank.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
You've made this pattern up, okay? I don't see any of these numbers.
So he's going to go see the old lady. Oh, the teacher. He goes to see the school teacher because Lucinda is dead. The teacher remembers Lucinda, but she also is having memory problems. She recounts,
aren't we all,
that there were missing numbers, and then the numbers are on the door, so he now knows there's numbers on the door. Then Lucinda died.
Yeah. Terrible tragedy.
Boom.
But she had a kid.
What is this? Who did?
And now I'm not saying Lucinda.
Oh, yeah. That surprised me.
It's surprising only because she seems like starting from a child when she's scratching numbers into a door all the way until the day she died. She was tormented.
Yeah.
She really had time to fall in love and birth a child and raise the child?
I got to tell you something, Tony.
Okay, tell it to me.
Back in the 50s and 60s, people just got married. And
women just did it. Okay,
women married terrible, terrible people, and men married terrible, terrible women. And, it was like you didn't have the Snapchat and the Venmo. You had to like... Got you.
What are you using Venmo for here, Dan?
That was a joke, Tony.
No, Dan, I like it.
You'd go to church and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm married to that guy because I saw him. I went on one date. We're married. We're done." Yeah.
What a wild time to be alive, huh?
It was. When you look at the past, it's freaking weird. Yeah, we have so much opportunity for kind of stuff now. Kids,
totally.
Kids with their Spotify can listen to any song. Did you hear the weird thing where Spotify is making up all this fake music?
I'm sorry. No, what? What do you mean? Like AI music?
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
So Spotify, right, has to pay the artists, right? Money.
Yeah, for sure.
So what they're doing now...
Not enough, by the way, if we're getting on that. But yeah, continue.
But if there's so much, it's money. It's expensive for them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're having an AI make a bunch of shitty music and then making a playlist and then trying to trick you into listening to the playlist.
I feel like it would work on me. I'd like to be... Someone should test this on me. I think I'd fall for it pretty hard.
Oh, guinea pig Tony.
I listen to a lot of pop punk, which is very formulaic. If you listen to any of the haters, it's very formulaic. So it might work.
It is very formulaic. So the Whisper Men are Caleb sees them outside, and the Whisper Men draw him over to their car, and they give him a magic rock. What is the magic rock, Tony?
No, I was going to ask you that question, Dan, because I still don't know.
I'm looking about, because I watched most of the movie. I watched half the movie this morning and then half about 3 days ago. So it's like kind of,
Oh, okay.
So like there's a couple things in the beginning that I didn't quite remember that sort of sync up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that syncs up. So that's good. The rock thing never synced up for me.
No. So I'm super confused by it, right? Because the Lucinda has a whole pile of rocks under her bed at some point.
So they kept
they keep giving her rocks.
Maybe the rocks intensify your Whisper Man experience, I guess.
I mean, I guess, but doesn't Rose Byrne find one on top of the payphone when she's calling?
There was another rock laying around somewhere. Yeah, I thought it was on the ground, but yeah, I think you're right. There was a rock.
Maybe the kid dropped it then. I don't know. I'm confused.
Maybe when the kids got kidnapped, there was a rock left behind. I think that's what you think.
Yeah, there was. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they drive off, and then she runs to the payphone to call, and the rock is on top. And then she's like, "Oh, these people took them." But then at the end, when the spaceship comes, they're in a field of those rocks.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. So when he drives that truck down past the mom's house and into that field where they land, that's all the ground is covered in those rocks. So I was like, is it just them telling them where to go?
Yeah.
To get picked up, maybe?
Because I was not paying attention at that point. So yeah, I think that's right. I think you're right. You had the answer, Tony.
I don't know, because I looked online for this and nobody said that. No one thinks that that's the answer. I think that's too simplistic of an answer. Some people are like, it's a metaphor for loss somehow or something.
Nope.
I don't know.
No, it's a. I think you're right. It's like, we're taking your kids. Here's a rock. We're going to the place of the rocks because they're stupid aliens.
Yeah, maybe.
They can't just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, world's ending tomorrow."
Hey, by the by. Yeah. They can open their mouth and shoot light, though. That's pretty fun.
So gives him a magic rock, vibes the kid. So the dad, wants to kill them, and then he vibes the kid about doing homework. And then his sister shows up, and he yells at her. Her name is Grace. Always a good thing to yell at the girl named Grace.
Great. Well, more religious themes here.
We learn that his mom and his dad's a pastor.
Yeah, and they don't talk anymore because he's a man of science.
Yeah, we'll get to that, which is really interesting. The whole pastor thing, very weird. And then then he's just like, I don't want to talk to them. Screw them. And then as the sister's leaving, she says, "I'll pray for you."
Yeah,
talk to me about that line, Tony.
What do you want me to say? Thoughts and prayers.
Did you think that was a line that character should have delivered?
Well, I mean, apparently the family's pretty religious.
Are they? Did they make did you through that whole thing with the sister?
Not the daughter. No.
Then why did she say, "I'll pray for you"?
Well, because I think she's supposed to be. Because she's the peacekeeper, right?
I understand that, but
no, I'm just trying to defend it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not saying it makes sense.
If the sister was part of, he needed to predicate that line of being like, you've spent so much time around dad's in your thing, and she's all like, his message resounds, but they make her very, very much not religious, I felt.
She because I mean that is her role, right? She's the in between both of them. She sees both sides. She plays both sides. So it's
you hit it. She plays both sides. So her saying that is instigating him.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a dig. Yeah, it's
a dig, and she shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
And that's the whole key to movies and everything is. And I think movies have a problem. A lot of times they have a problem with this is because you end up at the end and you're all like, well, either nobody's looking at it or you have no ability to change that line. Well, you could ADR it, like have a moth fly over her mouth, CGI moth. And then she can say, "See you later."
See you later. Great. We fixed it. Cut, print.
Problem solved. Okay. So, but for you, at 12 a.m. exactly, he's watching the news because he knows this is a day that another thing's happened. Oil rig almost explodes. Nope. This is when it gets really weird.
Okay.
It becomes like 3:30 a.m., but then he wakes up and he slept all day and the kid has gone to school, but then he has to pick the kid up at like 10 or something. I got super confused at the timing of all this.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that.
That I'm confused.
Here's the way I'm looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Is the kid woke up, got on the bus, but it's a half day at school,
so
and the buses are not running because they have to take other people someplace.
So he's picking up the kid at 10 a.m.? Oh, no, picking up in 10 minutes.
Oh, in 10 minutes. Yeah, he said 10 minutes, but it's
the
still
end of the
early,
school
though, right?
I don't know. It was so weird. Like, how did you sleep?
Well, because he was up till 3, and just like I told you the other day, I overslept by 4 hours, Dan. That's a lot of time to oversleep, so I get it.
But if you went to sleep at 3:30 and slept for 8 hours,
you'd wake up at like
11:30. That's if kid's getting out at 3.
He slept for 17 hours. Okay, get off his back. He was a tired boy. All right,
he hasn't really done anything. Why is he so tired?
He's stressed, yelling at everybody. It's very stressful.
So he's in the rain, and he realizes that the last section of numbers on the list is to latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitudinal. And amazingly, he has like a Garmin or whatever that he can type that in on.
I was trying to think about it. It's 2009. Maybe those were popular because when you used to go on vacation, you'd have to get like a portable GPS because the cars didn't have them yet. I don't know. I was thinking about that too, but it's fine.
I mean, now you just do it on your phone. You'd be like latitude, long, but
I just Google that shit. But it's fine. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
So he realizes that this is the location, but he doesn't really react that this is the he kind of is like
I like the way he reacts because it's almost disbelief, right? Because he's looking at the thing and he says no, they're locations, and then he puts it down and he looks back and he goes, it's this location? Like he has like a question about it, and then he never lets it sink in, which I think is the problem. I think there needs to be another beat in the truck before he leaves where he suddenly is, oh shit, it's this location.
I mean, it's almost like
what I mean?
You could spend a second and he could like take his wait, he has a cell phone, right?
Yeah, he's got a cell phone. Just not a smartphone,
Calls his buddy Ben Mendelsohn, who's playing Phil, incredible actor, and he says, the last number. They're the location, the longitude and latitude. He's all like, oh, let me look at that. And then he gets out of the car, and he's all like, sure. I'm going to see what's happening. Maybe, he's like, and you're at that one? He's like, yeah. I mean, what's happening? Well, there's something going on up in front of us. Oh, yeah. Maybe go,
let me go look.
Yeah, let me go look. Yeah. If you give us a little more like that as to what his motivations are and what he expects to have happen, then you can either subvert that or make it come true.
Yeah.
And then that's going to either push him away or reinforce it. He middle grounds everything.
He middle grounds it. That's the theme of the movie, middle ground. We don't make a decision. Okay.
So he gets out of the car because something's going on the highway. Everybody gets out. Yeah. And then what happens, Tony?
Well, two things are going to happen, Dan. This is my one of two problems with the movie happens right now.
What? Okay.
And let me explain to you what it is. Sure. So he approaches I think he's a police officer, highway patrol, something like that. What's happening? Nothing. Get back in your car. Yep. Then the highway patrol, looking at Nicolas Cage, looks above Nicolas Cage and fear is in his eyes. Oh, he turns around and runs. Nick does a full 180. This is all very important. He does a 180 to look backwards on the highway with fear in his eyes. Then we cut to behind to see what they're looking at, and they're looking at nothing because the plane is coming from like the east or whatever. It's like it's at 90 degrees. I don't understand what they're looking at because it's so weird.
You wanted the cop to track up here, be like,
he has to because it's he's looking this way, Nick looks this way, and then the camera pans to all the way to the right. It's like now the plane's coming. That's very confusing. However, setting that aside,
well, hold on. Okay, but I'm going to do my real quick thing.
Okay.
Sightlines are the most important thing. That's what you learn when you start puppetry. You have to make sure your puppet's always looking at what they're supposed to be looking at. You have to do that,
otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
Because people get very confused. You know, if your puppet's looking this way and he's responding to someone over here, everyone's going to be like, "What the fuck is happening?
What's happening? What is going on? Who is he talking to right now?"
Yes, you had a who is he talking to moment. Okay, what
I did. I was very discombobulated
after that mess.
After that second, pure movie magic happens. Stan Goodsell.
Yeah,
a plane coming down on whatever this axis is, like flipped on its X, right? The wing like cuts across the road and gets severed off, and then it crashes into a field. And then we pan back to Nick, and he's like, "Holy shit!" He's running in the field, and then we get people coming at him covered in fire, which is really cool. A weird moment here where a guy is running by him in fire, and he goes, "Hey, hey!" I don't know what he's trying to say to the guy that's on fire.
Well, I think he wanted him to stop so he could try and help him.
Let me put you out,
but
maybe.
The dude's like, I'm too scared.
just keeps running. And then, my favorite part is there's a group of people in the background, and then we pan over to them, and you're like, oh, there's a group of survivors, and then the fucking engine explodes, and they all blow up. It is an awesome scene. It is great. It's tense. Nick is wonderful, you know, like the fear and all this stuff. And then he pulls the guy out of the thing, tries to do CPR, they pull him off. It's a wonderful scene. It's beautiful.
There's another person who is completely on fire. In the fire, he tries to get out, and they just burn to death in front of his eyes.
Yeah. Yes. It is intense, you guys. It's awesome. It's a great scene.
It's a great scene. He doesn't really react to it afterwards. He's
he's kind of, after it all happens.
Yeah.
Well, we cut away.
Yeah,
you know?
we cut away. And
it's fine. Listen, this took us 2 days to shoot. We're done. Let's just move on.
We needed to have him on the cell phone afterwards, talking to the kid, and just the kid's like, "Dad, where are you?" And he's just gonna be like, "Take a taxi home. I'll be there." And I'll
just in shock.
He's just like his brain is melted.
Yes,
but his brain isn't melted. He's traumatized. He goes home. He's traumatized.
Yeah,
the kid's worried, and then he's still in the midst of his trauma is still the same dick dad. He's all like, "No TV for you," you know. And the kid's like, "I'm not a kid anymore." And you're like, I don't know. There just needed to be something there that was like more than, you know, maybe he starts crying and the kid has to comfort him or something.
Show that the kid's not a kid. That would be cool.
Yeah, just show us
because that line doesn't make any sense, Stan. Because he's a child.
He is, but he isn't. He's also like, I actually like that line. I thought that was a really good line because the kid is saying, I have some emotional understanding of what's going on with you. I'm not just a kid who you have to lead around. I have some emotional understanding. And that was a point where you could see him understand that his kid has emotional understanding. He's just like,
I feel like you're doing what I do, Dan, because I don't think the movie does a great job at this. I agree with you, and I would love that to be the moment. It's not there. Yeah. It's not on screen, but it's a great character moment that should be there. Yeah.
Okay. So talks to his buddy. Station wagon pulls up. It's his buddy. They talk about synchronicity. They realize there's 2 more disasters, and they realize that the bad guys, the Whisper people, are watching. Then one of the Whisper guys gets in the house. And then he shows Caleb a vision through a round window of like the entire world on fire. Forest fire that goes on forever. There's burning mooses. Yeah. What do you think about the burning moose? That's pretty cool.
So sad.
Yeah.
Because the animals are so sweet. They're so innocent. I don't like to see them in pain. And obviously, CGI. I understand no animals were hurt. But still, I don't like to see it.
Pretty creepy.
I'm all for people burning up in a plane crash right in front of my eyes, him pulling just an upper torso out of the thing. That's all great. But you put an animal on fire, I'm upset. I'm upset by it. I don't like it.
Lost Tony. He gets up there. Caleb's on the floor, and then he sees the Whisper Man out there, chases after him with a bat, and he hits a tree with the bat. And he goes,
It's such a great moment.
"You want some of this?"
Yes.
It's true, yes.
Listen, I understand what they're going for. It's funny. It's funny and not like an intimidating, hey, I'm saving my kid kind of way. It's just silly. It's fine. I let it slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to hold it against you.
Oh, no.
But it was a silly moment, and we should have thought of something else.
So now he wants to go and spy on the prophet girl Lucinda's family. Somehow she knows where the family is, sees the family, follows the family, goes to a museum, and then he starts the kids meet each other. He ditches the kid to follow her, but then the two kids meet each other. It's Abby.
Well, he sends his son to the same exhibit as the girl is at.
Did he
somehow knowing that they're gonna like hit it off?
Okay, sure. Love connection.
I think maybe he just knows his kid's a ladies' man.
Yeah, let me work on this.
Yes.
I got this. Then he starts chatting up the woman
in like a creepy, weird way, and she should not agree to have lunch with him.
Oh, you see, that's the thing is, I thought he did it really good. I thought the initial pickup line was creepy. I thought the initial line was creepy, but then he's all like, I just wanted to make sure because that's your. He didn't act like he was being like if I was going to do that, I'd have been like, oh no, sorry, just my son's talking to your daughter. He doesn't do any of that. He doesn't play the scene. He's still like semi-traumatized. He's still middle ground Nick Cage.
Yes. Nick Cage, that's what we'll call him.
Oh, yeah. So he sort of does a good job of it, sort of in his own weird. He's still the same way, and it's not fake.
Yeah, no, that's true. You know, I in my head,
because I know how you would. If you or I were to do it,
sure,
it would be like, hey,
and this is why we don't get parts. Okay, this is why we do this podcast. I mean, listen, I think he does a great job. There's a lot of people that were like, he wasn't good in this movie, and I disagree.
I'm just not sure that the movie knew what the path was.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I just don't think that he derails it in any way, other than, slamming the tree, a little wood on wood violence, and then yelling. But it's fine. So
he sort of gets them out to the promenade or wherever they have the little cafe there, and
it's a good spot.
Then he goes crazy. He's all like, "We didn't meet on accident. I want to know about your mom.
By the way, I followed you here.
Tell me about the time capsule. What the hell is going on?" And she's all like, "You stay away,"
which is the right reaction. Great job.
And then he's like, his lines are, "Something's going on with my son. Please help us." And then as she leaves, she says, "I can't."
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that was good. That's what it was enough of an invitation that she has some information. You're like, okay, she does have something.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's got a big gun. He calls the FBI and says something's going down at the location. And he goes,
I got confused on this, and maybe you can clear this up. Why did he assume it was an attack at the subway station?
He just
because none of the things previous to that have been attacks. They've all been natural disasters of some sort, right?
Because if you cry fire in a theater, people leave the theater. If you cry terrorism at a location, then they're gonna act like it's terrorism.
All right, no, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. But, I mean, it didn't work, so
it sort of did work. There were a lot of people around. They didn't clear the area, but they had people around. Yeah, that's
what I mean. They didn't clear the area. He told them to clear it, Dan, and nobody listened to him.
Well, they listened to him. They just didn't do what he told them to do.
Right. No, I mean, they had an elevated force there, but they did not clear the area. He was very specific. He said, please clear the area, and they did not.
And when they went back, in the FBI, like, 'cause they record all this shit at the FBI.
For sure.
They listened to it, and they're like, this is the person that's going to do it. They would have immediately have been at his house.
Yeah, no, totally. 100%. Yeah.
Hadn't thought about that. It's just like, you better go to a payphone if you're going to do this, because otherwise they're coming to your house.
You're darn right they will.
So he drives to New York City, finds a parking place instantly, yells at a cop, goes down to the subway, sees a guy, then there's a big chase. Here we go again. He's chasing a guy that he thinks is going to blow up a thing or do something.
Yeah.
Never once does he say, "Stop that man."
Yeah, no, he's running through train cars, right? And the quote unquote bad guy runs into 20, 30 pedestrians.
He runs by a million people on the platform before they get in the car.
That also true. Sprinting. They're like sprinting down. There were a lot of chances just for him to be asked for a little help.
Hey, stop that man.
Somebody help me.
Silence.
He's got stolen DVDs. Piracy's a crime.
So they catch him. He's got stolen DVDs. And then this scene, I'm sad about this scene because it was very confusing as to which subway was riding out of control. Because
I get that.
Basically what happens is the subway coming towards them goes loose and then it crashes through them.
Yeah.
He also at one point has the time to say to some woman with a child, "You should get off the train because it's going to blow up or something." And I'm like... something to that effect. He's not doing anything else to help anyone. But but
she had a baby.
Yeah.
All right. You want to preserve the children, Dan. All right.
I don't. There's too many.
I mean, people with children are the only ones that should vote. Politics are out of control, man.
We can't do that stupidity.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You can't quote from the second stupidest person running for a high office. Just like, yeah, okay, good. Rock and roll, bro.
Rock and roll, bro.
Book stealer, runaway subway car, and he saves the lady with the baby during this whole situation, sort of.
Not sort of. He tackles her down and protects her.
I mean, I don't know.
He loves this baby.
That baby might have bounced. Boom!
No more baby. Right on it. Jesus.
So the one car crashes into it and has a level of momentum that it could have never gained in the short distance that it traveled.
100%, but it looks cool.
It looked good. It was very... Yeah. Once again, I think that if they'd have played this part a little more real, I think it would have been a lot more stunning. But they just play it... car just crashes and, goes through post after post after post and hundreds of people, as opposed to, it like scraping the hell out of their car. I don't know. You could have made it more dramatic by making it less dramatic.
Sure. I will say, my favorite shot is from inside the train looking out the window as it just mows people over. That was a nice shot. I thought that was pretty cool.
Going down.
Yeah, just like bowling pins, man.
It's hard to be in this movie. And then he just sort of wanders home through the fog. He picks up Caleb, and then Lucinda and her daughter, Abby and Diana, are there waiting for him.
Yeah.
So basically we find out that the mom was crazy towards the girl and was freaked out her whole existence.
Again, just a weird... It's weird. It's weird to me, but, I have to buy it. It's a conceit I have to live with to watch this movie.
And then we find out that the disaster... Then he talks about his wife's death, and then we find out that she was asleep when she died, so the place burned up, and then he says a thing, aren't we supposed to know when a loved one we know is gonna die or does die? And I'm like, does anyone believe that? I don't know that I've ever met anyone that believes that.
I think so. Yeah, no, I think like a mother. I feel like in movies it's always a mother's instinct when her children are in trouble. I feel like it's a thing.
I mean, it's a sort of a trope. It's not. I don't think it's a trope. I think it's maybe a thing you've heard people saying. I had this spooky thing and then something happened. But he says it like everyone's brought up believing that they're going to know when someone significant to them dies.
And it's also weird because we don't deal with that at any other time in the movie.
No.
So,
It was weird. That was weird to me.
It's just another one of those ideas that whoever wrote it was like, this is a cool idea. I want to somehow get this in here. And then I ran out of time, so I just kind of put it in there.
Yeah. And so then he's like, once she died without him realizing she was going to die, he's like, that means there's no God and nothing means anything.
Pretty much. Yeah, okay. I get it.
Welcome to the world of the atheist. We all die in the end. Life is random. And
because that's what she says, right?
What?
She says that we all die in the end.
She does say that. She says that at the beginning of all this. Yeah,
because she's talking about her mother kept telling her she was going to die on the last date of those numbers that we find, and she basically says, "I ignored it because hey, we all die sometime." But that's not really. She's saying you're dying in your 20s, lady. That's not the same as well. We all die sometime. I don't know. I found that weird.
And she also said that because she didn't live her life like she was. She kind of lived her life like she was going to die. Yeah,
for sure.
She was a very scared, timid, weird person.
Yeah, it's all strange.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much sense. Then they're looking at the numbers, and then they look at the list, and then the last number of dead is 33, and they're like, oh, is that a 33 or is that an EE? Because maybe they wrote the E's backwards, because you know how kids write E's backwards.
I didn't.
No one.
Let me just say I did not know that, and when they said it as if I should know that, I was confused.
You know, it's that whole, when kids are writing, it's like this weird chicken scratch where, C's are upside down and L's have three prongs.
An upside down C looks a lot like a regular C.
Oh, Tony, stop it. You know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. I don't know what they're saying. I didn't understand that at all, but it's fine.
I don't know what they're saying.
Whatever you want to do. She wrote all of her numbers correctly, but just, the E. E is confusing for some people.
So they're like, maybe it's just one person. Maybe it's like Elon Musk.
Elon. If only there was another E there.
So many E's. Okay, so the mom died when she overdosed when she was 9. She dealt with the voices. And she'd moved. She says she moved here to get ready. Didn't she
for
live?
The end.
Yeah, but it's the same town.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she lived there her whole life. Yeah.
What do you mean? Did she move there or did she live there?
Maybe she means she moved to the trailer park to get ready. She moved from town to the trailer park.
Maybe.
Manufactured home park. That's what my father likes to call them. They're not trailer parks, okay?
Your dad's not a slumlord, is he?
I mean, no, he owns manufactured home parks, Dan. Okay. There is a difference.
Is he a manufactured home park lord?
Burglar? Is that what you just said?
Is he a manufactured home park lord?
He owns them, yes. Well, now it's down to 1. He used to own 3. It was called Tri-Park Investments. This is too much information to put out.
Maybe I'll track you down, Tony.
Yeah, they already have. There was this guy. They were trying to buy one of my dad's parks, and they kept calling me. I was already.
You should have sold it. Why didn't you sell it?
I feel like, well, I'm gonna need 30% of this sale because I need some money right now.
Yeah,
but they kept calling me to buy, and I was like, I'm in California. What are you talking? I don't even talk to them.
So
it's ridiculous.
I did the Glendale show, Glendale All American Collectorama.
Yeah,
we're getting to like the waning last hour of the show.
I know.
This guy comes up and he's like,
I love this. Because we have the scene.
We have all these boxes full of paper that you flip through. It's like comic books and menus. And, I sell a lot of paper. And he's all like, what would you take for me to buy it all? What? You want to buy my whole booth? Why? What are you talking about? It was so weird.
What? That's such a good reaction.
I wanted to tell him to fuck off, and I wanted to be very rude.
Sure.
I was just like, I don't even know who you are. What do you mean?
Right.
Sell you my whole booth? Why would
8 million, please.
Why would you want my booth? My booth is full of weird stuff. I'm like, it was just so strange. Like, you want me to add up like everything in there and give you a discount? Is that what you want?
That's what he wants. And then he's going to turn around and sell it for double the profit.
I'm just like, I don't understand, because my stuff is, there's a lot of people selling action figures and
sure,
toys that everyone knows what they are, G.I. Joes,
absolutely.
Barbies,
Oh, G.I. Joe.
things that all have a set value. Everything I have is fucking weird. You know?
No, that's your thing.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
That was very strange. Okay, let's get back.
Did you sell it
No,
for $2 million?
No, I
Come
didn't.
on, Dan.
I didn't sell.
8 figures. Wait. That's not right. 6, 7, 8, 9 figures. Damn it.
9 figures, baby. Okay. So they go to the mom's house. They find a wall of clippings. So she's been watching the destruction. They find a rock. Mm-hmm. The kids are out in the car, and the Whisper Men are like swarming the car.
Very creepy.
Very creepy. Then he sees a pile of rocks, and there's some writing under the bed. He flips up the bed, and it's like, everyone else, everyone else, everyone else, everyone else.
I liked it.
I thought it was nice.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Yeah, I would never have thought EE was everyone else. So you didn't need to say that was 2 3s. You didn't need to do that. Right.
Yeah, EE doesn't mean anything by itself. What's with the misdirection that we only deal with for about 45 seconds?
I
don't know.
We know iOS and LOL. We know all these. There's lots of things we know.
LOL.
LOL.
Live out loud. Yeah, no, I know that one. Raffle.
So the guy next to us at Glendale, works in the movie industry.
Oh, wow, the movies, yeah.
He had a little promo, clear plastic bathtub for the movie Saltburn.
Weird. Saltburn, weird movie. I'm not gonna lie.
And is that really, where you want to concentrate your promotional effort?
Nope, I don't think so. Because I'm not even going to your booth now, because now I think you're kind of weird. You know what I mean?
That's so funny. Boom, the kids are freaking out. They hit the horn, honk. Then Dad runs out, and they run off. The Whisper people run off. We learn later that the kids have been talking to these guys, and they don't have a negative opinion of them, do they?
No, they don't ever seem to feel threatened, except for now.
Like now, yeah. I don't know.
Stranger danger, though. All right.
Oh, he got his gun. He runs out there, and then the one guy standing there, and then he opens his mouth, and his mouth turns into like a movie projector.
First of all, I wish that it made that sound and was a movie projector. That would be cool.
Okay, goes back to the kids. Yes, what are you going to say?
It's just a ball of light. And this seems to back up the angel thing more than anything to me. Yeah, but I don't know.
Okay, goes back to Caleb. I'm not going to let you die, bro. Okay.
Yeah, bro. You're good.
And then he realizes that what's happening is the sun is going to have a giant soul. He's like, I figured it out. And he runs back to where he works, and he sees his buddy there, and he's like, I will not tell you what's happening until I've typed on the computer. I can't start talking until I'm typing on a computer.
Well, here's why I'm confused.
Okay, tell me why you're confused.
Apparently, and we haven't seen this, he's already published a paper on this or something?
Just about something about solar flares, yeah.
Something about solar flares, and then he's, let me just adjust the readings, and that's going to destroy the Earth. It was a weird sequence of events. I wish that he was worried about that at some point earlier in the movie, so that it would connect to something he said earlier, The
newscasts and things sort of said some things like, there's some
electrical
activity.
A heat wave coming. Yeah, I get that. But he seems like he was already knowledgeable of it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, and he computer models it in like 30 seconds.
So fast. Yes, so fast.
Based on no data or anything. Just like, yep, this other sun had a solar flare, and it's going to come and make our.
Yeah.
I didn't understand if the other sun in the other solar system zapped our thing and then our thing zapped us, or if it just decided to zap us now. It didn't make any sense.
I think it just decided to zap us. I think that's, I don't know.
It was kind of...
It was a little confusing.
Yeah. And then...
In a normal disaster movie, he would have discovered that in the first 5 minutes and then spent the first act trying to convince people that it was going to happen. But that's fine.
It's almost like a thing you could do in your movie. Yeah, it does seem like him having the astrophysics knowledge about this whole thing, we don't really need that.
Don't need it at all, it turns out. Because, I don't know.
You know, we could have just have him be a dad and
some shit's going on with his son.
Yeah.
And he just kind of has to go for that ride, you know?
Yeah. Maybe the son has that. Maybe the boy has that information.
Well, because he kind of did in the beginning. You know, he was very smart, and then not anymore.
He could be like, Dad, don't you find all the solar flare activity worrisome? He's like,
oh, okay, buddy. Yeah, solar flares. Okay, go to bed.
Maybe someday you'll be able to look through the Hubble telescope. That's my dad voice.
That's good. That was a good dad voice.
Okay, boom, boom, boom. He tells Phil to go home because he's going to die. Then he goes and sees Diana. She cries, and he's like, well, we can maybe go to some caves. She's like, well, there were these caves that no one knows about that I played in as a child. You're like, wow, that's a movie line that solves a bunch of problems. It's like, there's not going to be anybody at these caves, and I'm the only one that knows about them because I went there when I was a kid.
That's right.
No.
Unregistered caves. All right.
They pack up. He gets the present. He opens it. It was a locket that he was going to give his wife with a picture of them. Okay.
Yeah, it says something like "Together Forever" or something.
What does he do to the photo, Tony?
Did he have a little fun?
He rubbed it off. Yeah, he rubbed it.
Yeah, attaboy.
Rubbed the photo like we all do. We all rub photos,
kissing pictures and all that.
What are you supposed to handle photos with your greasy fingers?
No, it's not good for however they put the art on them.
Emulsion? No.
Emulsion?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Which part of the process is that?
What an emulsion is, it's like, because it's a sheet of something. Like in the case of a movie theater, it's a sheet of like acetate,
cellophane.
It's a cellulose of some sort.
Something.
It's like a plastic, and then you put an emulsion on it, right? And then the emulsion, which is flexible, and then
however things are on there.
Yeah, like if it's black and white, some of it turns black based on an exposure, right?
Yeah, exposure. Yeah, your f-stop.
All that stuff, Tony.
I don't know anything.
Rubs the photo, calls his dad, and he's all like, Dad, you remember on Thursdays you do the sermon about prophecy? Well, the prophecy's coming true.
Is it every Thursday? Does he give the same sermon every Thursday? I was a little shaky on that.
I don't know if he said Thursday, but it was one particular day of the week, and it sure seemed like he gave the same goddamn sermon.
Same one. Like, I'm not going to that church, guy. If you got to mix it up, okay?
Yeah. You got to do Apostle Joe, Apostle Fred, different apostles.
AJ, as they call him.
Yeah,
Apostle Joe.
Okay, calls his dad, and then he goes to the basement, and everybody's ready to die. Caleb's doing the numbers, and then he wakes up, and he's like, did I do that? He does the Urkel line, did I do that?
I wrote that down, too.
Wait. Urkel was before this. You can't have Urkel's line.
Oh, way before. Like 20 years before that. It's perfect. Did I do that? So good.
Can't have Urkel's line. They break into the school. He steals the door that's been painted over. He takes the door home.
Why? How do you break into a school? Is it summer?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Back when he was at the astrophysics lab, he said the government will be announcing it soon.
Oh, so they closed everything.
Everything's closed, yeah.
Okay, I missed it.
Yeah, there's that one single, almost a throwaway line. They don't actually ever then show anything being closed or have the TV say everything's closed or, you're all going to die. go home to your
You're
loved
all
ones.
gonna die. All right. Okay, copy you.
So boom, he gets the door. He's using the heat gun and scraping it. And then Roseburn's like, the best thing to do now is to steal the children away from him.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, he ignored her. I don't know if you remember. You should never ignore the woman. Okay, that's the recipe for disaster.
If there's any life lesson you take from this show today, never ignore the woman, because
Don't do it.
you know, if you're like on your phone, you're like
You're not listening. You're dead.
You're dead. That's death. That's death penalty. Death penalty. Rightly so.
Of course. Yeah. I'm not. There's no shade to the woman in that scenario. You're being an asshole. You deserve it.
We got in a big argument because we went to the Family Values tour back in the 2000s.
Great.
And Korn and your boy Limp Bizkit, and Shannon's like, yeah, and Primus. I'm like, we did not see Primus. I did not see Primus. There's no way.
I have never seen them before in my life.
We look it up. There's Primus, and
there they are. Yeah, dead center. Right
in my world. Boom! They run away. Diana stops at a service station for some reason.
Did she get gas? I think she got gas.
I don't know. Like you'd be selling gas. Actually, no, you would be, because the guy at the gas station didn't believe it. He was going to make all the money he could.
No, he is one of my favorite parts of the movie, by the way, because his place is just getting fucking like run down. People are stealing stuff, and he's like, man, these guys are going to feel real stupid tomorrow. I love him. He's so great.
That's the Tony character. You idiots.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow when everything's fine. You're gonna feel so bad about stealing all my stuff. So good.
So Caleb calls his dad on the payphone, even though her cell phone doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. So this is confusing. She has the line because she tries to make a phone call or something, and she has the line, "The phones are dead."
Maybe just T-Mobile.
Just depends on your carrier how much infrared or whatever they can fight. Yeah. But then he calls his dad's cell phone, no problem.
How's it
Very confusing there. But that being said, the most unbelievable part of this movie to me, Dan, is the year's 2009. And you're telling me this 8-year-old kid has spare change in his pocket for a phone call? Not a chance.
He probably
never
walked into the store and knifed somebody and took it out of the register.
It was like, thank you. Ridiculous.
So he calls the dad. Boom, boom, boom. I thought that I wasn't paying attention, so I thought the kid stole another car to get away from the mom, but the Whisper people picked them up.
The Whisper people just got into her car and drove off. It's actually very scary if you think about it.
God, what was the movie I was thinking about? Oh, I was thinking in the 50s War of the Worlds movie, there's a point at which they're like, our main characters are driving through the streets. And this is in the 50s. And everybody's mobbing out. And they go through there and they steal their whole truck and throw them out of the thing. And you're like, you can really make that scene terrifying. Like they're going to take your vehicle. And then you're going to be shit out of luck because you're going to be standing there 100 miles from where you need to be.
Yep.
But this movie never plays any of those games. They never put you through it.
Now, did you ever watch Greenland? Am I emphasizing land too much? Greenland. I don't know. Did you ever see that with Gerard Butler?
I don't think so.
You should see that. Great disaster film. But they do that. They do that sort of stuff all over the place. It's messed up.
And it's a real thriller thing because that puts you through it. I mean, I'll get worked up over that. That's
100%.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Truly terrifying when they beat you up and drag you out of your vehicle, and it's horrible. And he had to walk back. It was
totally
terrible.
Yeah. What else are you gonna do? You can't hitch a ride. It's not working out that way.
So he gets there. Oh shit! So Roseburn takes off, and she is not paying attention. Boom! Hit by a semi. That was good.
I just did not see that coming, man.
No,
that was messed up.
And then And I'm like, oh, she's dead. Then they kind of show her, and you're like, oh, she's sort of alive. I'm like, oh, wow.
For no reason, though.
No.
Why is she sort of alive?
Oh,
yeah, tell me.
I loved it, actually, because then what happens is he gets to the gas station, talks to the dude, and the dude's like, yeah, I saw these guys steal those kids. And you're like, okay, he could have seen that. He could have seen that. I guess
he could have, but he's got a lot going on his plate right now. The fact that he was able to clock which direction she drove off on is pretty impressive.
What? I mean, let me backseat drive a little more. He should have been outside yelling at everybody. He's like, "This is my station. Why are you taking my stuff? You're going to be like idiots." Yeah. Nick Cage. See, this is a scene. I'm going to write you a good scene for your movie. Tony,
okay, yeah,
for your remake of this movie.
Okay, yeah,
Nick
we
Cage
got it. 5 years down
rolls
the
up
road.
in his car, sees the guy. This is my station. He gets him. He's like, "Did you see it?" He says, "Have you seen this?" The guy's like, and he grabs him, because it's an old guy. Grabs him by the neck. He's like, "Did you see?" He's like, "Yeah, I saw that." And just gives him the information like that.
Dan, you're hired.
As opposed to
you're going to play the old man.
I'm an old man. So he chases after them, sees her car. I don't know how he knew that she was in that car, but
in the stolen car
that he has sees that, goes there. She's in the ambulance. He watches as she codes, and they do time of death. And I'm like, it was when she's hit, you're like, she's dead. And then they show her alive, and then you're like, oh, well, she has to live because they're going to escape or whatever.
Yeah.
She dead.
No, she gone. They were just waiting until midnight to call it. And they're like, 12 o'clock exactly on the day she was supposed to die. It's fucked up.
Oh, I forgot about that. So it is the day. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's messed up, though. It's dark.
But once again, you could have there's ways you could have pumped that up to make it like, oh, shit, 12 o'clock.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, then so she dies, and then somehow the paramedics fuck off. So he then climbs in the truck and then has some time with her dead body.
It's a weird moment.
To which he apologizes. Sorry, I didn't do more or something.
It's weird because they're giving her the paddles, and he's just standing at the door watching, which already I feel like they'd be like, sir, you need to not be a looky-loo 5 feet from where we're trying to revive this woman. But then they just leave him at the door. He's not hiding. He's just standing at the door, and they just leave past him to go look at something else. It's a little weird. Little weird.
And she's got like a rock.
Yeah, she's got a rock. I don't get it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think it's the rock that she picked up on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
When she made the call.
Yeah.
She was just holding it the whole time, maybe? Or maybe she found it in the wreckage. I don't know.
I don't know. So he gets to where they went, gets out of the car, has the gun, pointing the gun. Where is he? Where is he? And then the kid shows up holding a rabbit. And he says, it's okay. They're just here to prepare the way. We're the chosen ones. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Him and the little girl are Adam and Eve. Oh, fuck. Please, no.
Okay, so you did not like this part.
No.
Now, Dan.
Yes.
He's holding a bunny rabbit. What are bunny rabbits known for?
Fucking.
Yeah, reproducing. This, for me, is just like a weird symbol to be like, guess what, Dad? Your son's about to go repopulate some shit. He's going to be having so much rabbit sex in the next 10 years.
I thought it was a Noah's Ark thing.
I mean, it is. It is, for sure. And all of the other ones are probably people with other animals, right?
Mean, who gets the elephant?
Someone that probably died on the journey. They got sat on during the journey. It didn't work out.
They did.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that it was a bunny rabbit because, they're a symbol of making babies.
Dad can't go. The aliens are there. They're like blonde people in suits, but you're like, oh, okay, they're the angels. The angels are coming to take away the chosen ones.
Or aliens that manipulate mankind. I don't know.
They're also aliens. I mean, the aliens are angels.
Sure.
Whatever. The symbology, it doesn't really matter. They're the people in the Bible. Dad can't go. Nick's like, take care of Abby. Caleb cries.
Did you cry?
No, God, no.
I cried a little. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it can affect someone. And he's all like, eventually we're all going to be together, even your mom. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty religious.
Well, because he's coming around to that side of things. That's why he goes and sees the dad shortly. It's because he's given over to the religious side of things.
So he's all like, okay, yeah, we got to go. The ship unfolds. The ship was really cool. Like the ship.
Yeah, ship was cool.
Really good looking. Really, really good looking. They go. He cries. He falls asleep. He wakes up. He's laying on the rocks. There's all the rocks. You're right.
See?
It rains. Did you see the rocks before this?
You see the rocks when he pulls in with the truck. The headlights are pointed down, so you see that he's driving onto the rocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he drives around through empty streets. Then he drives into the masses of people. Looks over, sees his friend and his wife hugging each other on the side of the road.
And then they saw him. It felt like they saw each other.
I don't think they saw him. I think he just saw them.
Okay. All right.
And then he goes to what I thought was a church, but then I realized this is his dad's place.
It's just his dad, who obviously stole a church door and put it on his house, because it's definitely a door to a church.
Or it's a door to a gigantic mansion.
Yeah, that could be that. But, pastors historically don't make that much money.
That would be my thought. I'm like,
Yeah, right.
I thought, he'd end up in like some little suburban, 3-bedroom house, and you'd be like, oh, this makes sense. But no, he lives down in the city I'm like,
I don't know.
This seems weird. Then he goes in there.
Maybe he lives in the church.
No.
Okay. Well, I got nothing, Dan.
Because his sister lives there too. That's too many people.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Tells his sister Caleb's safe. He makes up with the dad. The dad's like, this isn't the end. And then it is the end because the entire planet burns up.
Wait, what does he say?
Fuck.
The dad says this isn't the end, and Nick Cage says,
fuck you?
I know.
Oh, I know.
No, he says, I know, because he's giving over.
Hold on, that's just a movie. I didn't even write it down. I didn't pay any attention.
That's the name of the movie over there.
So it's just about...
And then a wonderful scene where they just show, the world just getting fucking roasted, blowing up. It's cool. It looks nice.
And that's what's happening to the world right now.
Oh, you're right about that.
This is a very prophetic movie. The kids get dumped on a planet. Somehow their clothes are gone, and now they're wearing like muslin white robes. Yeah. And then they turn around, they loose the rabbits, and they turn around. Oh, look at that! The Garden of Eden. There's a big tree.
The tree. The tree of Tree of Wisdom or
Tree
some
of
shit.
Wisdom. Oh, come on.
Now, a little heavy-handed. For the rest of the movie, up until that point, to me, has been thematically it's all there, but I don't feel like they've really hammered it home. Like, you know what I mean? But then this scene's a little over the top for me. I would prefer the movie without it, but I assume they wanted to give you some sort of hopeful ending at the end of this relatively dark movie.
They should have just shown a planet that had oceans.
100%. Yeah.
And they were just heading to that.
Now, and this is all conjecture, do you feel like all of the spaceships went to the same planet? Yeah. Or do you think they tried to repopulate multiple planets?
They showed the spaceships in the distance.
I see. I must have missed that because I was staring at the children's clothes.
Yeah. There were other ships landing on the planet.
Got it.
Yeah. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
you have
it's what it is.
Rollerball out there in the world. You're like, I'm not going to give this movie too much shit.
Rollerball. Oh, Chris Klein. Love that guy. Not the last time we're going to see him on this show. I can promise you that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I liked it. Yeah. I enjoyed the film. Again, it takes a lot of big swings. Doesn't land them all. But there's enough there that I enjoyed myself.
I'm not going to say you're an idiot for liking this, Tony.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Dan. I appreciate you. I'm going to mark this down in my calendars. Dan Goodsell.
You're not
a nice soul.
An idiot. Yeah. Okay. Well. Anything else to say about this movie, Tony?
No, I think we did a great job. I'm proud of you.
We did a great job. I think we didn't do a great job. We did an incredible job.
A wonderful job.
So, Tony, why don't you tell us about something you're enjoying in your life right now?
I was going to look this up so I don't mess it up. But we watched Kill last night. 2023. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's a foreign movie.
You watched a foreign movie by choice.
Yeah, it's a Indian film. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get this wrong. It is intense. It's like a John Wickian action film, and just a lot of kicking ass on a train. It's really good. It's darker than we thought. We cried a little bit, but it's good, man. It's good, and there's enough action that when I have to read, there's good chunks of break. You know what I mean? You read for a little bit, and then there's 10 minutes of just punching and kicking and murdering folk. So that helps. But it was good. It was intense.
Where did you watch? Stuff. Where did you watch this movie?
I bought it on Vudu, so you can watch it anytime you want to, my friend. And then the other thing I want to shout out, Twisters dropped on VOD this week. Watch it. Everybody watch it. It's so good. We watched it again this week.
How long did that take? 2 weeks?
No, it was 3 or 4 because Wolverine came out the week after it. And I think Wolverine's been out for at least 3.
They're going to drive theaters out of business. There's no way theaters are going to survive.
Yeah, wow. I mean that I don't disagree with. We're in a weird time right now. Having said that, go pledge all your money to Twisters. It's great.
I'm going to take the Tony position this week, and I'm going to.
Something you don't like?
I'm going to tell you something we've been watching that is something you probably watched that we would have never watched, but Shannon turned it on.
Great job, Shannon.
Love is Blind UK Season 1.
Yeah, you watched the UK. Yeah. How do you like it? Do you love it? Is it great?
It's an interesting sociological study. Luckily, there's not too
100%.
many truly terrible people on it.
That's because it's the UK. Watch the American one, man. We are terrible people.
We'll probably watch it because, Shannon's getting a little bored because, nothing is happening. It's just like...
Yeah.
It's just
because they're decent human beings. It's tough. It's tough. You got to get to the dredge of society in America.
Just go across the pond and there you go. America.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing.
I love that you're watching some reality TV. This
it's pretty
is great.
funny. I haven't watched any reality shows in a while, and so it's kind of like, okay.
Love Island USA Season 6. This season was dynamite, man. You guys should watch it. The drama. Wonderful stuff.
I can imagine.
On Monday, the reunion. We're 1 day away from the reunion. I'm very excited. But anyhow, I'm glad you're watching Love is Blind UK. What a treat.
What do you got for us, Tony? What movie are we watching next week?
All right. So this movie was a little dark, a little serious, and I was like, we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna watch something that I think is gonna be silly and just plain awful. And Naomi, this is a shout from Naomi, actually. She brought this one to my attention.
Wow.
It is a 1994 comedy.
Ooh, 1994.
Starring Katherine Heigl and some French dude, Gerard Depardieu.
Gerard Depardieu, who got kicked out of his own country?
That's it. That's the guy.
He was
My Father, the Hero. Oh, he was the what?
He was the number 1 actor in France.
Well, not anymore.
My Father, the Hero.
The Hero. I'm just going to give you just a real quick synopsis of the film because you got to hear this shit, Dan. This movie is about a hapless father falls victim to the romantic mischief-making of his teenage daughter while on holiday in the Caribbean. When the girl takes a shine to a fellow tourist, she decides to spice things up by claiming her father is actually her older lover. That's all. That's it. We're doing it.
I gotta take a shower just hearing that plot synopsis.
fucking wild over there.
Oh my god!
So
Why?
she sent me that, and I was like, we're doing that immediately. I need to see this movie. This is insane.
10 out of 10. Since I picked a movie that was actually
Very
decent.
excited. It was pretty decent. This will not be decent either, just movie making, but also just morality wise. It's going to be pretty bad. I think. I'm very excited about it.
God, how terrible. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So we'll be watching that next week, or talking about that next week. We'll hopefully be watching that at some point between now and then the show. So
I think we will.
That's our
plan.
We
will.
And if you like our show, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, or maybe subscribe. Those are all things you can do to help support the show, drive the ad revenues.
Yeah.
Burping.
The ad revenues. We don't have ads on our shows.
No, we don't. Thank God.
We should start doing fake ads for our own products.
Oh.
See? Pretty good.
I'm burping now. I'm burping and hiccuping.
I see that. We better wrap this show up quick.
Probably going to expire in a few minutes here.
Expired.
Okay, it's been fun, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.